Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest issue of Comic Book Gentlemen, the podcast where we use our decades of being giant nerds to talk about the most divisive issues in our fandom. I'm your host, Greg, joined by my constant co-host, Dave. Dave, how's it going?
About as well as it could for a decades old nerd.
Decades old nerd, yeah. Yes. Barely making it up the stairs.
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Yeah, no, you're really plugging away.
I hurt, but I have comics.
We got something going for us.
Yes,
you know?
There's always a silver lining.
Another thing that's been going on for decades, which we'll be talking about today, is video games. So, obviously, when you're talking about nerddom, there's lots of lanes you can go. You
Absolutely.
can go comic books. You can go just regular books like fantasy books, D&D. But then you also have video games. Would you consider yourself a big gamer, Dave?
I wouldn't say I'm like a top-notch professional gamer, but I mean, I definitely played my share of video games when I was younger. Still play them today. Just, I would not say competitively, or that I would call myself. I don't want to put myself in the realm of gamer, because then it maybe sounds like I can do something. But I very much enjoy games, and I very much enjoy when other genres that I enjoy crisscross.
Yeah.
And have a beautiful baby like a superhero video game.
Exactly. And like it's crazy to think about video games really started popping off 80s is when the home console started coming in. You had the arcades and all that stuff.
Had the Atari when it came out.
They've been making superhero video games pretty much since it started, right? And they've been decades and decades of that. So that's what we're going to do today. Is we're going to talk about our favorite superhero video games over the years. Let's preface this by saying there's a lot out there.
There is,
and there's no way that we've played all of them. But these are our personal favorites that we've played over the years that we recommend people check out. And obviously, I'm sure most of you already have. So, but what in general, what type of games do you usually lean towards? Like, what's your usual go-to?
I'm not a huge, as much as the games that are entertaining, a little bit of a spoiler here, something like, say, Injustice or Injustice 2, which is more of a Mortal Kombat style kind of game. I've played it. I enjoyed it for the kicks and giggles that it was. Yeah. But for me, that's not it. I very much enjoy where there's a larger story there to be had. Open world is even better now that they have the capability to do that, because I think a lot of earlier video games were very linear. Yeah. You're forced down the path.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy now is the actual freedom of when you get a video game that they've done more of an open world, you can explore more of the world of that character, meeting various NPCs and obviously villains and doing your thing. So that's what I look for.
Yeah, me for video games in general, I usually prefer RPGs. Like I like to, single player, give me my character, I'll choose the decisions and kind of go from there. Yeah. I don't mind multiplayer games. I've been playing, especially the last decade or so, I've been really getting into multiplayer games, so I do enjoy those. But it's not usually my bread and butter. But let's get into it and see what we actually come up with. So what's your first video game you want to talk about today?
Well, I will. Before I get into my honorable mentions,
okay.
I will say number 3 for me is an. I guess it's considered old now. It hurts me to say that.
Yeah.
And because I vividly remember playing this as one of the last games next to the person I was playing with.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it wasn't online, which was X-Men Legends.
Oh, yeah.
It was the first time that you had the ability to, collect up X-Men as you went along. You got to build up their powers however you wanted to build up their powers. You got to create your own little 4-man X-Men team as you went along. And they stayed so close to, home as far as the stories that they told. I still remember when Rod and I were playing, and the X-Men manager gets attacked by the Sentinels. Yeah. And you have to go out in the yard and fight Sentinels. It's so fun compared to the stuff nowadays. I think it was definitely in a couple areas hey, why don't you do this? They've expanded on that since, but I think that was one of the early games where they said well, what if we let you build your team out of a whole bunch of X-Men, and then we'll tell just a really good, close to home X-Men story. It was just such a good video game. I have such vivid memories of that, and also the fact that it was literally, because I can't think of anything else outside of maybe Super Mario Kart, that I played a game with the person next to me, and it was a blast. It was so much fun.
Gotta love co-op games.
Yes.
Yeah. You usually, I remember I had a younger brother, so it's like every weekend Blockbuster we had to go find a co-op game that we could go play and go from there. Yeah. Marvel Legends is a good one for sure. My number 3, I just said, I was talking about I prefer single player games, that type of stuff. Actually, my number 3 is a very new game that's also not a single player game. It's a multiplayer game, which is Marvel Rivals. And I know I've talked about this multiple times on this podcast, but Marvel Rivals, since it released last December, has been absolutely insane. I think for me, one of the things that really stands out, not only for this game, but also like my other games going forward, is I really love superhero games that aren't surface level basic. In the sense of when it comes to specifically the characters, like one of the best things about Marvel Rivals is the cast is so expansive. Like obviously you had your most common ones like Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, but then you also get like Luna Snow, who's a brand new character in like the video game format. You get Jeff the Shark, you get Squirrel Girl, and then they all fully are these like the people who made this game know these characters, and like you can tell they're fans of the characters as well, and they really delve into them and add them to the game. It's awesome. Amazing graphics. It's super fun. It's one of those games you can just hop in really quick. Like if you have 10 minutes, you can just do a quick 10-minute game and get out if that's all you have. And the really cool thing is, obviously a big trend with superheroes the last few years has been the multiverse stuff. Like Marvel's done it, DC's done it, other comics have done it for decades type of thing. But what I found Marvel Rivals is probably the best multiverse I've seen anything called Marvel do, which is hilarious because like the way that they combine certain aspects of the comic lore and then just mash 2 storylines together. Like one of my favorite ones was when they introduced Emma Frost and Ultron. They merged the Krakoa storyline with Ultron attacking Krakoa. So the maps and all the characters had this awesome combination of like Ultron technology mixed with Krakoa technology, and like it had awesome costumes. It had awesome storylines going on. So that's why I love it all. I think the only reason for me it's lower on the list is like it's really new. Like it only came out in December, so it's one of those things I'm really curious to see like what is the staying power of it, because like obviously they've had amazing content this year, but like 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, like who knows how long it's gonna keep our attention.
Well, and that's exactly it, the attention span, right? Because it's not even so much like can they keep introducing more stuff. It's what else catches your eye, out of the peripheral going, ooh,
exactly.
Ooh, Assassin's Creed, or whatever your thing is.
And then again, the other thing that knocks it down a couple pegs for me is it is multiplayer. Like you can't just play you could play against bots, but it's just not the same, right? So I will always put single player experiences above multiplayer, but this is definitely one of my favorite multiplayer experiences I've had the last 10 years type of thing. So Marvel, and the other big thing about Marvel Rivals, it's free. You don't have to spend a single dime on it, and you can have an amazing time. So
I mean, people do.
Oh, 100%. It's a cash cow. If you
I agree with you on that. Like I like the fact that somebody can go and enjoy and play it for free. And they don't have to spend money.
No.
But if you are one of those people that just wants, all the costumes, all the perks, all the whatever, and you're willing to shell out whatever, go to town.
100%. Yeah. And the second you see some of those skins, you're like, here's all my money. So, but that's it's a great game. Highly recommend. But what's your next game, Dave?
The second one is I very much enjoyed the first one, and that's what got me to play the second one. And the second one lands second on my list, which is Batman Arkham City.
Yeah. Okay.
It blew my mind because you had Arkham Asylum, which was confined. You were basically moving around the asylum, so there wasn't a lot of freedom to go, but still a great game, lots of fun. But when they opened it up and allowed you to go on rooftops and fly, like the first time you could actually be Batman, kind of out and about. You had all your staple villains. You had all even some cameos by. Some of the Bat family showing up. It was just like as a collector of like Batman, who still enjoys Batman very much. It was just such like at that point when it came out, I was like, this is my favorite superhero video game of all time, hands down. Period. Stop.
Yeah. Well, especially for when it came out, it revolutionized superhero video games. Like it was crazy. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny? Ironic enough, my number 2 is Batman Arkham Asylum. So not City, which I think for me, I thought about it like, what am I... For me, I'm just not a big open world guy, and that's just personal preference right there. Yeah. Like, I prefer give me a small, concise world that, go from point A to point B, do the mission, go from there. I found once you get open world, I'm just not a big fan of that. Like, it's just not my preference. Yeah. But, I mean, like you're saying, some of the best things about Arkham Asylum, great atmosphere. Like the artwork and everything was really cool. I loved the wide variety of villains. Like it wasn't just the Joker, but you had like pretty much everybody in his rogues gallery. Yeah. And then what I appreciated about it was each villain fight had its own like hook to it. You know, like you had the Scarecrow nightmare sequences. You know, Poison Ivy had to do your own thing to get around her. Again, when you got to the Joker fights, it was his own thing, right? So I thought Arkham Asylum was really great. And again, like you said, at the time it was crazy when it came out. Like it was like every video game since then has tried to replicate Arkham Asylum. I'm pretty sure.
It was. I was very surprised because I was, you know, as okay, you're Batman. And I was like, well, you know, some of Batman's kind of being out and about, but even just being confined in the asylum, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed just being stuck in a more confined space. And I think it was like, you know, a lot of the things you had to kind of figure out. To your point, the villains, it was a really well constructed game. And then for me, again, that's why when they expanded it out, it was just like, oh.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing for me, Arkham City, was Catwoman. But, you know, I was like 14 when it came out or something like that. I was like, how you doing, girlie? But I think the only thing I'll say about it is I haven't played Arkham Asylum in years. So who knows, like, maybe if we go back to it, it's a little bit rougher on it, which is fair. It came out in like 2000, I don't know, whatever. But did you ever play like the Past City? Did you play that?
I actually almost made the list because it was one of my, like, outside of Arkham City, I liked Arkham Origins. And it was just because it had a kind of a darker, grittier feel to it. And I liked some of the villains that they had in there, like Black Mask. It was just, you know, Deadshot. It was just, I don't know, there was something about that one that I really liked, even though a lot of people probably put that, as far as the Batman Arkham series, would probably put it down lower on the list. I would say for me it was like Arkham City and then Arkham Origins. Okay. And I've played Arkham Knight. I've played Arkham Asylum. I haven't played the VR one. I'm afraid I'd just, you know, I'd go insane. So it's a great, like, hands down, it's just a great series that they've, because each one come out, I'm going to say, like, you know, lands at probably an 8 out of 10 at least.
Yeah, I only played Asylum and City. I never played the other two, but maybe I should get into it. Maybe we do the full playthrough of one after the other. The
only reason that the other ones fell short for me is, like, with Origins, even Night, which I know a lot of people like, is that once they put out City, it was like, okay, here's the mechanics to the game. And I find this is what they do with a lot of sequel games, is they basically refurbish, they put it out, it's the same stuff with a few minor tweaks as far as, like, the mechanics of the game. So you got a couple extra toys as Batman, or you got a couple extra moves as Batman. The story changes, which is, I think, for the sequels, that's where most of the weight hangs, is if it's not a good story, I'm playing the same game. Right? So it's got to be a better story. And that's where I feel is like City introduced all those mechanics that were, again, improved upon from Arkham, which introduced the original baseline mechanics. Since then, it hasn't, in my opinion, evolved all that much. It's been more like, we better write a really good story. And then go from there.
Utilize the mechanics that we perfected, you know, type of thing. Yeah. Which is totally fair. Did you ever get into, like, what was the one that was like, there was no Batman and it was just all his sidekicks? Did you ever get?
No, I never played that one. Gotham Knights.
Yeah. Because I wonder if that was how they were trying to fix that. Of like, okay, you played Batman 4 times. You know, maybe if we just do like Batgirl and Nightwing and stuff, you can like mix it up a little bit.
I'm sure people were playing it and were like, do you know what would be better? Is if I was playing Batman for the 5th time.
Maybe one day then they'll come out. But I guess we're already at our number ones. I mean, we went way faster than that. Did you want to do honorable mentions before you get to number 1?
Yeah, honorable mentions would fall with the rest of it. I'll do my number 1 first.
Okay.
Number 1 is Spider-Man.
Which one?
The most recent one that not 2.
Okay.
Not the Miles Morales.
Okay.
The original one that came out, what year was that?
I think it was 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
It was, for me, especially as a Spider-Man fan, it was somebody took Arkham City and made it Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the open world was huge. I found the DLCs were actually good.
Yeah.
Like, they were entertaining. The fact that you encountered all the villains, the story was really good. It was the first time I was like, I got into a video game and I'm playing it and I'm like, okay, I can see this is where they've kind of twisted the story or changed things a little bit, and I didn't care as it went on, because it was just, I found it to be a good story. It was entertaining. I finished the game 100. It's one of the only few games that I've completed 100%.
Wow.
All the accomplishments on it, because I just enjoyed sometimes just getting on and for 10 or 15 minutes and swinging around town. Like, it was so good, and they captured the heart of it. They had such great villains. The fights were all different, like from fighting Vulture to Dr. Octopus to the Shocker. Like, all of them were different. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just, we jump into an area that we have to stay in and then you just punch the guy until he's gone. It's like, no, you had to interact with the environment. You had to do different things. I just loved it. Mm-hmm. It was again, Arkham Batman turned into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And who just happens to be my favorite superhero. Yeah. So of course it was just, for me, it was just mind blowing.
And it's also an open world, which
it was open world.
Yeah, you really appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to turn it negative, but why didn't you like number 2 as much?
So again, same reason with the other ones. I just found playing them like the Miles Morales, like, you had a few different powers. I felt that Miles Morales was an absolute shot at video gamers, because that should have been a DLC, because it was so short and there was no content there. Like, it was just like, we reskinned Spider-Man, gave him some different powers to differentiate the two Spider-Men, threw him up against villains that you were just kind of like, you didn't really care about.
Yeah.
Like, that one fell flat. And then when I played number 2, like, the most dynamic thing that happens in that one is, like, you're playing it and, the other Spider-Man will jump in sometimes and help you fight, and you tag team guys, but you're not really controlling them. You're just doing combo moves. Mm-hmm. Like, they really didn't. It was the same reskinned game with the same shit. Mm-hmm. Just, we added a few little things to it and the story, and I just didn't find the story as compelling as the first one. Yeah. So that's why I wasn't as high on that one. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'm hoping the third one that they've hinted at least at the end of the one, is better, but we'll see.
It's definitely on my to play list. Like, they actually added it to Steam eventually. Yeah. Like, it's on PC, so you don't have to have a PlayStation to play it anymore. But it's just one of those things of, like, other games keep popping up. So one day I will play the Spider-Man game, and I'm very excited to try it out. Again, my only hesitation is I'm not a big open world guy, so we'll see.
Yeah, and the thing that I liked about it was, like, if you're not an open world guy, and it's similar with a lot of other games that are open world. Mm-hmm. If you just want to stay on the main story and you just click it and it's telling you where to go for the next thing, you just go do it.
Okay, good.
Like, you don't have to just, like, what am I doing? I'm running around. Yeah. I'm in Harlem, and now I'm downtown New York, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you always know where you're supposed to be going.
Okay.
Which means, like, in all honesty, as I was playing the story, the people in the main storyline probably died, because it would take hours to get there, because I would just be like, well, what if I swang this way? What if some people to fight? And I'm just totally getting distracted with other stuff. So
Mary Jane's is dangling from a skyscraper. Come on, guys.
Yeah. But I would say, like, again, Miles Morales for me was more like maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10, just because it just felt like reskin. If that was the game that had come out, like, there was nothing else, it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But it was super short. Didn't seem like it added a lot. It was just wasn't great. And number 2, like, I would say, is still an 8 out of 10. Yeah. It's still definitely worth playing. It just wasn't as good as playing it for the first time.
Awesome. What, because the other big thing I heard that was awesome about the Spider-Man video game was the costumes that you could choose. Yeah. Like, apparently they just had, like, every costume ever.
Everything. Even ones I'd never even heard of.
What was your costume of choice?
My costume of choice was always, I played through with the actual video game Spider-Man suit. But there was a couple times I threw on the black suit, swang around. A couple times I threw on, like, Spider-Man 2099, swang around. Like, there were some really, really cool suits, and even some suits that were, like, throwbacks to, like, comics from, like, the 90s, like his armored suit. Yeah. Where it was like, I was just like, really? Okay, I'm gonna go swinging around in this thing. There were. I said beyond even that, there were suits I've never even heard of.
That's
and
awesome.
The fact that they would have a suit and then there's, like, 4 different color schemes for each of the suits, so it's just like, jeez.
Yeah. A wide selection, which I like to see.
Yeah.
My number one, and I'll admit, this is 100% just nostalgia goggles.
Yeah, of course.
They just on it. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Yeah. It was like from 2005, 2006 or whatever. Did you ever play this?
Yeah, it was on, like, I was thinking, I was like, Marvel Alliance was awesome.
Yeah.
And then as I was thinking about that, and I was making this list, and I was like, wait a minute, there was an X-Men version of this thing. And that's the X-Men was the nostalgia for me. Alliance?
Okay, so the reason I love Marvel Ultimate Alliance is number one, the amount of depth they put into this game when it came to character selection. Every character, they gave you the full backstory to every single character, the comic book you see. Then every character had so many costumes that they then explained where all the costumes happened. So when this came out in 2005, 2006, I think it was, I was just getting into comic books. Like, obviously, I watched the Saturday morning cartoons. My dad had always mentioned, like, oh yeah, Batman's cool, Spider-Man's cool, all that stuff. But I never really was a comic book reader. Yeah. And this was also when the movies were, just getting more and more popular type of thing. So me and my buddy Finnegan, get this game. And we just start losing our mind on how many different characters are in it. Yeah. Not even just the heroes, but also the villains you fight are just insane. How many, like, all the different levels, all the different things. And then we would find these, like, crazy characters and learn about their backstory and then the sick moves that they do. No lie, Dave, this is one of the reasons Ghost Rider is my favorite character, is because I loved Ghost Rider in this game. Because I remember just like we were trying to... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I love the fact that, like you said, there's all those options, and then on top of that, when you're selecting your team, if you selected, say, all the Fantastic Four, there was that little extra boost that you got because they're all the Fantastic Four. Yeah. Or it was like the Avengers or X-Men. Yeah. And what I hated was all of my favorite characters in that game were not on the same team. So if I wanted to play it like... Yeah. Because I like it. Yeah. It was like I don't get any extra stuff there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
What was your favorite mix?
Yeah, well, so we the combo that we always did was I was Ghost Rider and my buddy was Deadpool. Okay. Because that's the first time we ever heard about Deadpool. So like literally, we loaded the game. We're like, okay, you do the basic characters you have at first, like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Thor. But then as you get more characters, our 12-year-old brains were like, there's a dude with a flaming skull head. What is this? And then he's like, dude, there's a guy with a machine gun that just makes jokes all the time. It's hilarious. And then we start learning about the characters. And we're like, what is... Then the Nicolas Cage movie came out. And we're like, oh my God. Like, literally, it was just us losing our minds, like 12-year-old minds of like... Yeah. One of my favorite movies, I can still remember to this day, was Ghost Rider would whip out his chains, grab a guy, and just slam him on the ground multiple times. And then, like, he would activate his Deadpool ultimate and, like, spin in a tornado and just chop everybody up and all that stuff. Like, it was just... It's the most, like, 12-year-old boy game. Because it's just a dungeon crawler.
I have a very fond memory of that game.
Yes.
Tara and my wife, Tara and I, were hosting my niece and nephew. I would say they were probably in the range of... under the age of 10, just about 10, kind of like 8, between 8 and 10, somewhere in there. And we were, of course, trying to come up with things to entertain, and Dakota wanted to play a video game, and he wants to play Marvel Alliance. Yeah. So I was like, well, perfect. There's 4 of us. We can all play a character and go from there. This is like one of my wife's few forays into video games. Yeah. So we get into the game, and I don't think we managed to beat the first boss, because we'd get in, and Dakota... my nephew would just run straight ahead, like just not wait for anybody, and then he'd get so far up ahead that he'd die, and then he'd yell at everybody because we're not supporting him. I'm trying to stay pace with everybody else, and I'm trying to fight, but then I look over and I see, my wife is just in a corner spinning in a circle because she can't figure out how to... She's just the hand-eye coordination. She can't get it to go. And Ava's just wandering around, not fighting anything. She's just like a bee.
Yeah.
And Dakota's yelling, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, wow, this reminds me of playing with my brothers.
Yes.
Yes. Right now. It was such a great memory. Horrible time playing a video game because I wanted to scream the entire time. Yeah. But it was one of my fond memories.
Yes.
Thanks to Marvel Alliance.
And again, that's another great part about it. You can play it solo, you can play it co-op, you can play it all that stuff. What were your summer favorite characters to play as?
Well, of course, Spider-Man, Daredevil. I like my Ghost Rider was fun.
Yes, it was fun.
It was... I like the mix, although sometimes I find myself going like, okay, I know the villain here is going to be like a Fantastic Four villain, so I just take the Fantastic Four to play against the villain. But I mean, basically, it was like any combo plus Spider-Man.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was always my big thing.
Yeah, I love the Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I wish they would do an HD re-release of the first game. Because again, the thing that really stood out to me was just how much depth they put into it.
It was a good story.
And it was a good story because they had the opening scene of like it was Doctor Doom, right, just killing Colossus, and it was like, oh my god, like what's happening? It was awesome. Yeah. But like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, I remember being decent, and like and they did the whole Civil War storyline and stuff like that, and they introduced like you could play as Green Goblin, you could play as Venom, which was really cool, but it just doesn't have the same amount of depth. And then, like, in 2018, I think it was, or 2019, they released Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which was a Switch exclusive. Yeah. And again, it was just, you know, what's popular right now? Thanos. Let's make Thanos. And the Infinity Gems. And, the cast was very basic. There wasn't any additional costumes. And I was just like, this ain't the same, man. No. Give me number one. Yeah, HD re-release. It was amazing.
Yeah. And that's the same feeling I had with Legends. It was like, it was that... But just X-Men.
Yeah, 100%.
It was the same thing. It was so great. But I mean, it was you know, like I think like it's hard to rank them. Like as I was going through, I was like, okay, I've got a couple here. Like I liked Arkham Origins. I liked Arkham Knight. I liked Spider-Man 2. I liked Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like I liked them all. I just found that the three that I gave as my top three were there was more of a connection there. It was either a first time of experiencing that kind of thing. Yep. And I think that's what you've seen is like Legends was the first game that I saw where you could pick your team. Mm-hmm. And then you saw that move into Alliance, but then it was like, no, we're going to do the whole Marvel Universe, which was like bigger. And now you're seeing in Rivals, it's the same thing. It's just bigger. Yeah. Right? So it's just like a really great concept of saying, hey, why don't we put a game together where you can select your own team of heroes and then go do your thing. Yeah. And, you know, I haven't played Alliance 2, haven't played Alliance 3, but then I started combing through some of the old video games that were there. Like to say, like, was there something way back that I'm not remembering? No, my God, there was so much garbage. It was so bad. Yeah. It's like video games hit a certain level of, like, competency of developing and putting out a really good game, and then everything before that was just like, oh my God. Yeah. It was just garbage.
The one older video game I always wanted to get into was Marvel vs. Capcom. But one, I'm not great at fighting games, so I was like, I couldn't figure out. And two, it was before my time, so I never got into it. But I always loved the art style of Marvel vs.
Did you ever play the Avengers game that came out a while ago?
Did.
Yeah, my brother played it. He was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I played, I think, through the first couple, call them chapters, and it was fun. Like there was some interesting stuff, like especially when you're smashing shit as the Hulk. It's just pure rage. Like you're not even, there's no strategy to it. You're just button mashing and just crushing things. But I don't know what it was. The same thing. It was like you could pick and choose which heroes you were using. It just didn't land the same as Marvel Alliance.
100%. You know what random game popped in my head as we were talking though? Do you remember when they used to come out with movies and then they would come out with the video game like of the movie or whatever? Those were so dope. Sometimes like Spider-Man 2 was amazing. But one that always like I have this vague memory of, I'm like, was that even real? Was the Fantastic Four movie video game? Because what it was similar to Ultimate Alliance and X-Men Legends, is kind of like a dungeon crawler, but it took place in between. It took place right after the first movie. Okay. So then you fought like Mole Man, and you fought like all these other villains outside of Doctor Doom and stuff like that. And I remember it just being really fun, but it was one of those things of like, I'm like, was that real? You know?
Well, I remember the Punisher video game.
Oh yeah.
And the only thing I remember about it was that it was super violent, and it was the first time in a video game that I heard them swearing.
Oh, really?
Like full on dropping F-bombs and stuff, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
The rest of the content, can't really remember it. It was just those things. Yeah. But I'm very much looking for, like, as far as like going forward. Yes. They've got a Captain America.
Oh, really? With the Black Panther.
With the Black Panther coming out, which I'm super interested in.
When is that coming out?
I keep seeing, it's like video games now. It's like, I don't, in the way that the internet works now, somebody finds stuff, they post it, it's like, and they're still like years out from releasing. I don't know. I keep seeing clips of it. I keep seeing introduced on various different panels.
Yeah.
No idea, but
That's
it looks
crazy.
it looks entertaining. It looks fun.
The one I'm really looking forward to is the Wolverine video game.
Yes.
It's made by the same people who did the Spider-Man video game.
Yeah.
Dude, like they've shown nothing of it, but I'm hooked. If what I've heard of the Spider-Man video game is anything to go by, I can't wait to see what they do with the Wolverine video game. It's gonna be so good.
And it got me thinking, like, just video games in general. I was like, so you get the Marvel one. It'd be fun to see if they did like a Marvel Alliance with DC.
Yeah,
it'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be good.
I did play a little bit of DC Online, which was, I mean, you know, of course, being in, you know, having an ego, I was like, I have to create my own superhero, who was probably super lame. But I mean, it's got quite a following. I know lots of people play that. Like the actual online script is like would be interesting to see in other areas. An Invincible game,
the fighting game,
you know, and even just more of a story based Invincible game. Like, I'm surprised they haven't kind of gotten there yet, but there's so many different, it's like the movies. It's it's funny how video games have been kind of very selective about who they've and what they've done, whereas like now you're seeing the movie industry and it's just like, what, you made a superhero? We're gonna give him a 10 episode series. You know, and they just throw anything and everything out, whereas video games have been like very selective to a degree. Like a lot of Spider-Man stuff, a lot of Batman stuff.
I mean, even look at our lists. It's Spider-Man and Batman, you know, type of thing. Like, it's a really good point. I hope they start branching out a little bit into additional characters. But I mean, hey, Spider-Man and Batman keep selling, so what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So
And if we'll go watch the rebooted version of Spider-Man and Batman how many times in the movie theaters? Yeah, they're just gonna keep cranking out those video games.
We keep giving them money, they're gonna keep making it, you know, type of thing. So there you go. But yeah, those were our favorite video games. I don't know if you had any final thoughts. That was it.
No, I think it's an interesting thing that you said. It was an introduction to some degree to comic
books. Yep.
You know, through that, and I never thought about that until you said that, and then I was like, yeah, do you know what? Like, I think my preference or my liking for Green Lantern came from Injustice.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
I don't know what it was. I just liked using them.
Yeah. Well, even like you've said, like this generation's another introduction for them for the comic books is now Marvel Rivals.
Yeah,
exactly. That type of thing. Like there's only somebody
who even have a comic.
Exactly, which I've been reading, and they're just really quick fluff type of thing. But like Jeff the Shark, 10 out of 10 character. You know, like 10 out of 10 comic, 10 out of 10 character. Every kid should go read Jeff the Shark, you know, type of thing. But those are our favorite superhero video games. Let us know in the comments which ones you recommend or which ones are your favorite. And make sure to follow us wherever you found us, and we'll see you next time.
See you.